This episode is brought to you by the Fish Sauce RPG. Unleash the power of precision. Our RPG, rod fishing gadget, is the ultimate tool for adjusting Scotty or Folby rod holders.
No more struggles or worn-out tools, just smooth, easy adjustments. Elevate your fishing game and shop the RPG now.
www.fishsauce.com.
We are back with another episode of the Wet Net Weekend Report podcast. Adam is not here today. He recently found out that he was actually born a woman, so he's going through a little bit of a transition, trying to decide which path he wants to take for the rest of his life. I always thought he was a little feminine to start, but that's his own choice to be made. So. No, in all seriousness, he's got some stuff going on, getting ready for the Salem Salt Show and whatnot. So I figured we had a little 1 week hiatus last week, and we'll get back to it this week. So I got a nice cool guest today. I'm here with Todd Stoffel with Stoffel Sportfishing.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
How we doing?
Good, man. How you doing? Thanks for coming on.
Glad to be here. Yeah, doing great.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll. This episode here, we'll talk a little bit with Todd, hear about his story and some cool things that he's done, and some adversities that he's gone through, and what he's got going forward. So, first things first, I'll always try to circle back to our giveaways that we got going on. Win yourself a Fish Sauce RPG. You go to our Facebook page. We got a post pinned to the top, and you like that, share that. Comment, tagging 3 friends, and tell us something you want us to talk about. And our second giveaway is a fishing leaderboard. So go to episode 2, and episode 2 will tell you how to win that one. Couple small announcements that we got from ODFW, WDFW. First things first, they gave us some clam digs. Dates are February 21st, which is today, and February 25th. Well, I mean, you guys will be hearing this on Friday. We're recording on Wednesday, but Wednesday, February 21st to February 25th. So check your local regulations and make sure your beach is open and go get some clams. The other big news is they had a meeting today, and they set our Columbia River spring Chinook seasons. So our dates for that: downstream of Bonneville Dam, Friday, March 1st through Friday, April 5th. Pretty much the same as it has been the last handful of years. Nothing really crazy. So just check your areas, make sure you're all good. Hatchery fish only. Same deal with above the dam. Monday, April 1st through Thursday, May 2nd. Bank only from the dam to the Tower Island power lines, and then from there up you're good for a boat. Now we got that boring stuff out of the way. Let's kind of get into your stuff here, Todd.
Let's do it.
So let's kind of first things first. Why don't you? We like to try to figure out what got guys into fishing. Like what was kind of your introduction? What got you hooked?
Well, like everybody, it was my dad. I grew up in Oregon, and we didn't get out on a boat much, but we bank fished everything we could, and it was just, there's something magical about the water.
Yeah. Where out in Oregon were you?
I was in between Monroe and Tillamook, and then my dad's family was from Lakeview.
Oh, okay. So you're a salty guy.
Yeah. I try to be.
Yeah.
But, nobody had a boat, so we just river fished and would spend summer vacation and winter vacations and everything with my grandparents in Tillamook, and my Uncle Robin was there, and spent many a day in the plunk and hooch with him, and it was fun. It was just a good way to kill time, and learned a lot and forgot just as much. But
that's about how it goes, isn't it?
Right.
So you do a lot of the coastal tributary steelhead and stuff growing up, or
a little bit. Life really took a dramatic turn when I turned 16, and life happens, and so it is what it is, and I came home and just it was an enjoyable thing to do.
Yeah, absolutely. So did you go to Tillamook High School or were you?
No, I graduated from high school in Eugene from Willamette.
Been hauling logs down there.
Yeah, graduated in '87, and a month after graduation, took off to the Army.
Okay.
And was active duty for 3 years, and then in January of '91, I got recalled for Desert Storm, and did that. We were had everything loaded up, ready to go, and it was over.
Yeah.
So,
what was your MOS? What'd you do?
Oh, I was an 11 Bravo.
Oh yeah.
I was, one of them infantry guys, and
Yeah.
At the time it was, I had no plan for the future, no idea what to do, where to go, and it worked.
Yeah.
It was a good time. I learned some stuff. I really learned how to do my favorite pastime, and that was drink.
Right.
and but since the Army, I've had a lot of opportunities and taken, I don't want to say advantage, but put to use everyone I could to try and build a better life for my kids than I had, and I think we've done a good job of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we're sitting here in Todd's shop right now, and man, I tell you, this place up here is gorgeous, man. I dig it. I wish I could get a place like this, man. Maybe someday when I'm rich and famous, but for now, I'm just doing a dinky little podcast and seeing where we go from here.
So in 2012, so let me back up. When I came home out of the Army, I went right to the woods and was setting chokers, pulling rigging, and tended hook till about 1999.
Who were you doing that for?
Down in Oregon, there out of Eugene, I worked for R&R King. I worked for Little Log. I spent a while with Weyerhaeuser. Way down south for Huffman and Wright. I mean, I just did what I had to do to get the experience to be able to get the job that I thought would take care of everything. And so then in '99, I got an opportunity to become a fire sprinkler fitter. And, that was a different change of pace. It was good. I enjoyed it. And then I joined the Sprinkler Fitters Union, and that's what brought us up here to the Vancouver area in 2009. And 4 months after we moved, I popped my bicep.
Oh no!
Yeah,
I've seen videos of guys doing that, like in the gym or something like that. Oh man, I couldn't imagine that.
Yeah, it doesn't hurt.
Oh really?
When you first do it, it doesn't hurt.
Yeah.
It rolls up, and you're kind of like, wow. I wanted arms like Arn, but this is ridiculous.
Yeah. What were you doing? What were you doing when it popped? Doing some sick bicep curls.
We were putting in a fire sprinkler riser, and I had a chunk of 6-inch ductile iron pipe, and I was handing it down to the guy in the hole. It was only 4'2" long, so there's doing it what we thought was the easy way, and I don't know what happened. It just popped.
Yeah.
And
Jeez.
and handed it off, and then the life-changing fracas started. And so I had to have surgery. That was the worst part, was after the surgery, because when they reattach it, everything has to die, and then it gets blood flow back to it, and it regrows.
Yeah.
That hurt.
Oh, I can imagine.
That hurt like a mother.
Yeah,
And,
I had a dinky little ACL reconstruction in high school, and it was kind of the same deal. Like, it didn't, like, initially when it tore, it hurt.
Yeah.
And then it didn't hurt so bad afterwards because the ACL, is just a stabilizer, right? So you're not using it all the time. And then, so it didn't bug me all that much until I went and had the surgery. And man, after the surgery, it was rough. Yeah. But luckily I shouldn't say luckily, I have a really addictive personality. And luckily my dad, I was living with my dad at the time, and I think they sent me home with like Oxy or something like that. And I think he gave it to me twice, you know. He was like, all right, that's it for you, kid. And I was like, oh shit, you know. But I was off crutches in, you know, a matter of a week or two. And I wasn't supposed to be, but I was stubborn and young and dumb.
I resemble that remark because I did the same thing in 2007.
Oh, yeah.
We were playing softball, and I stepped in a hole, and my knee did one of those wiggle things,
oh, yeah.
and there we were. So,
yeah.
you know, and that's, you know, there's always been, life is full of adversities, and it's how we deal with them and how we respond to them that I've found matters.
Yeah.
And so we moved up here. You know, I popped my bicep. I got ready to go back to work. 10 months later, the economy took a dump. And so there I was. What am I going to do?
Mm-hmm.
I got laid off from the good union job I had. And so it was like, okay, well, I ended up getting my CDL.
Mm-hmm.
And my intent from the moment I got it was to go back to the woods.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I wanted to haul logs, and of course,
Dummy.
I got to go to one of the dirty word driving schools.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you know, they taught me the basics.
You can say dirty words on here. We kind of pride ourselves. You know, I use it like a sailor, so we're labeled explicit on every platform for a reason. So,
well, the state of Washington paid for me to go to truck driving school.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And when I was in school, you know, it's like, well, I want to haul logs,
mm-hmm.
and they all looked at me like I was a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
Well, I am. And so that was all I wanted to do.
Mm.
From, you know, my grandpa in Tillamook growing up had his own logging company on the coast. I was going out to the woods with him from the time I could crawl. And that's, you know, as a little kid, I'd sit in the shovel with him as he'd load logs, and then I'd jump in and go to the ride to the mill with the trucks. And one summer I got set chokers behind his cat, and you know, it wasn't if, it was when.
Right.
And so I got my CDL, went over the road for a little bit, trying to get some experience. That was really fun for my wife and kids and everything. They were quite happy.
Oh, I can imagine. How old were your kids when you went?
One was 16 and the other was about 6.
Oh,
There's 10 years between our boys.
Gotcha. Okay.
And so that wasn't working, so I left that and was watching Craigslist, and an ad came up, you know, log truck driver wanted, will train the right guy.
Mm.
And I think he said the ad had been up about 5 minutes, and I was the first one to call, and I said, I'm the right guy.
That's right.
And he goes, what makes you the right guy? You know, and I told him about my previous experience on the rigging and everything, and he goes, okay, well, we'll give you a shot. My first day was humiliating. I stripped the same load twice.
Oh yeah, we just had a guy do that last week. Granted, he was in a super train, but it wasn't all that steep of a hill pulling out. So I'm sitting there on the landing waiting to get loaded, scratching my head. But anyways, he go on ahead.
And you know, and it was a good, you know, 4 months of experience. Got my feet wet. You know, learned a lot of what to do and what not to do, and then. You know, life happens, and that job went away, and I was starting to make friends in the, you know, logging and trucking community up here, and talked to a couple guys, and they got me in touch with a guy named Ed Lottie, who was at the time the truck boss for Chilton. Mm-hmm. And Chilton hired me. Mm-hmm. You know, and they gave me my first shot and learned a lot. Will always appreciate them, and worked for them for a year. Then I decided to buy my own truck, and there we went.
Yeah. What year was that you bought your truck?
I started on my own in 2013.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And
what was your first truck?
My first truck was a 79 A model.
Woo-hoo.
Oh, buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was under the hood?
When I got it, it had a Big Cam 3. No, Big Cam 2. I'm sorry, Big Cam 2. And when we were said and done, it had a 3406E.
Oh, yeah.
Had, 189 18B transmission.
Yeah.
We'd stretched it to 260.
Yeah, we're probably talking gibberish to some.
That's
some of the
okay. I
guys
know
here.
what I'm saying, but made it into just a beautiful track.
Yeah, I seen some of your. Is that white one that you posted a picture of, or was that?
So when I first bought it, it was white.
Okay. Yeah.
And it had the Big Cam, and it smoked, and friend lady I hauled a lot of logs with, Candy Miller, called it Puff the Magic Dragon because it was just a steady stream, and so I cracked a frame, had to rebuild it, and it was beautiful. I mean, blood, sweat, and tears. There's scars right up there on the post where the push-up stakes.
Oh yeah.
I got a little, I was a little dewy-eyed one morning and and drug the side coming out, and another time I was dewy-eyed coming in at night, and I backed into the big slide door there. But then all the emission stuff started, and so I got worried and panicked, and anyway, sold it, bought another truck that was a long hood, 07. I bought it from Whitaker's down in Roseburg there, and it was a great truck. All my trucks were good. I mean, they all treated me well, but I took care of them.
Yeah, yeah. So when you were hauling logs and stuff, were you kind of fishing and stuff on the weekends, and was it did you kind of get a nice little break?
No, I wasn't fishing. I was raising kids.
Yeah.
Both my sons are Eagle Scouts.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And scouting takes a lot of time.
No, I can imagine.
And I wouldn't trade anything than how both of my boys came out.
Yeah.
They're both, quality, stand up, young men, contributing members of society. And, we had, at one point we bought a little, it was an 18-foot North River, had the offshore bracket and all that. Nice little boat. And that's really when we started fishing up here. We started in kokanee fishing.
Oh, okay.
Didn't know diddly squat about it, but I knew I wanted to get back to fishing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so that's what we started doing, and had the wife and my son Carson, and away we went.
Yeah.
And that's kind of my MO is I don't know shit, but I'm going to get into it.
That's right.
And so
you're only not going to know shit for so long.
Exactly. So, and that's kind of what started it. And then in 2015 or so, I found the Fallen Outdoors on Facebook, and my buddy Nick Taylor posted a trip, and I got picked for it, and it was just that trip lit the fire.
Yeah. Was it a salmon trip or?
It was.
Okay.
It was.
Yeah.
Out on the Columbia, and
whereabouts were you? Was it Lower Columbia, Upper Columbia?
It was. We went out of Kalama.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And me always being the old guy, and it's kind of been intimidating, but it's been great.
Yeah.
That's what got me going, and so I got to go a couple more times with Nick, and just kind of looking at stuff and said, hell, I can do this. And the thought of giving back to, being a veteran myself, but seeing the guys that were coming back from Iraq and Afghanistan and all of those places, I can connect with them.
Yeah.
And that's what those trips with Nick did for me, is just being able to sit down. The world is so insane. It's hard to bust anybody's balls anywhere. You're afraid to say anything. And that's what, I missed about the woods and And so that's what we did.
Yeah,
you know.
yeah. And it's essentially giving you a whole new life too. You know, now that you're kind of trying to get your guide business up and going, and you know, it's you'd never think that, you know, winning a free trip would take you down a whole different path that you never really expected to go down. You know.
Well, exactly. And you know, grew up like I said before, you know, fishing little creeks and rivers and everything, and then come up here and you know, it's really been a trial by fire experience for me, but I'll get there.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, I will get there, and you know, I started, so I bought a boat, started taking veterans out on my own, and following Nick around and going here and going there, and that first boat I bought was the first sled was a 22-foot Koffler. Loved the boat, but it didn't have the V that the one behind us has, and so it would slap.
Oh, I know all too well.
Slap the shit out of us.
Yeah, my prior boat was an '88 Alumaweld flat bottom, and it looked almost identical to your Koffler, but it had a 90-65, and oh boy. yeah. I mean, horrible boat for somebody that spends all their time on the Columbia River. You
Right,
know,
exactly.
I had the perfect tributary boat, and I never did it a single time in almost 2 years of owning it. You know,
guilty.
Yeah.
You know, and that's kind of what. So we, John Kaiser asked me to be a boat for one of his big events down at Buoy 10, and I said okay. And so I went down for it. And it beat the shit out of us.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and I had an old 2-stroke with a pump, and the gate fell off.
Oh no.
And so there we are, you know, we're dead in the water, got the goddamn kicker fired up, just whoom, and giving her all she's got, Captain, and we're sitting still.
Oh man.
We're not going anywhere. And so another buddy come up, give me a tow back in. And so it came to, well, you know, we need to repower this. What are we gonna do? And at that point, this one come up for sale. It's a 21-foot Alumaweld Columbia, and you know, it's got the deep V I wanted. I got the opportunity, the last estuary sturgeon season we had down there. I got to go out with Cameron Black on his, and that sold me.
Yeah.
You know, I said, dang, this is the boat I want. And like I said, this one came up, and it was priced well, and so we jumped.
Yeah, yeah. One of my best buddies, I don't know if you've seen him around, Brandon Powers.
Oh, yeah.
Fins and Feathers. Yeah. He's got a 23-foot Columbia, and ever since he started guiding in a 21-foot Super V, and that boat was nice. I mean, it was clean and well kept, and it was a super nice boat. And I can't remember how long he ran that boat. I want to say it was only a season or two. I think it was 2. And then he went and got the Columbia, and in my opinion, I thought that the Columbia looked a little rough. You know, like it was, God, man, it's not as nice as the Super V. You know, a little bit of an eyesore. And then I went for a boat ride in it, and I was like, okay, world of difference. You know, you've got me sold on a Columbia. If I had the means, I would be in a Columbia right now. But I got 2 kids. You know, I got a 5-year-old and a 2.5, almost 3-year-old, and I got to make do with my 18-foot fish right for a time being. But
you know, and that's what we do. You know, we make do with what we have, and until we're in a position to do something different. And fortunately, I've been blessed in several different ways, and was able to you know, buy this Columbia, and you know, it's my forever boat. I've got no reason to want to do anything different. And it's, you know, it's been good to me.
Until you go out in the ocean one time and you decide, you know, man, I really wish I had 2 more feet.
There is that.
Yeah, yeah.
But, you know.
No, this will be a good one for you.
Oh, it will. And, you know, I enjoy it, and I'm getting to know it. You know, I like the high sides. That was important for my wife. The Koffler didn't have real high sides. And so that was an issue. but we've got all our bases covered now, and it's time to get out and give back.
Yeah.
After that trip down at Buoy 10 with John and Nick and everybody, it really lit the fire under me to give back. And I took the Coast Guard class just about 2 years ago. Mm-hmm. Away we've gone. It's been exciting, frustrating, but everybody has been so helpful.
Mm-hmm.
And it's some of it I just got to learn on my own. Mm-hmm. And having that stroke last July really was a turning point.
Tell us a little bit about that. So did you start guiding prior to the stroke? Okay. How far into guiding were you?
I was about 6-8 months into my first year.
Okay.
And really looking forward to the fall and be able to get out and get some fish. I guess
the money making time of guiding.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's all been my dime.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Right.
I do it to take the guys out.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing better than spending 8 hours on the water with your brothers and sisters in arms.
Mm-hmm.
It's just there's something magical about the water. Even for a fucking Army guy.
Yeah. Right.
The water is just amazing. And when I've got guys like Nick Taylor and John Kaiser and everybody else that has helped me along the way, it just I've got something that I've got my youngest son is involved.
Mm-hmm.
He deckhands for me and that's great.
Yeah. And how old is Carson now?
Carson's 22.
Okay, gotcha.
I think. Is he 20? Fuck, I don't know. 22.
Something like that.
Somewhere in there. Maybe he's going to be 22.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Who knows anymore?
He moved out and the house is quiet and it's just Mama and I, so it's great.
Yep. And the 2 dogs.
And there's 2 cats too.
Oh man.
We've got a regular fucking Dr. Doolittle going on up here.
Oh, no kidding. Kidding.
To be able to share something with my sons that I got to share with my dad, that I got to share with my grandpas. And it's been magical.
Yeah.
Been magical. My oldest son, he lives in Florida, so he doesn't get out here as often. A couple of years ago, he was out and got to take him out of Hood River up there, and he ended up catching a fish, and it was great.
Yeah.
I mean, there's just something about catching fish with your kids.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I don't want to get too far into it because I love my dad and have a lot of respect for my dad, but kind of down to the nitty-gritty of it, I didn't meet my dad until I was like 12 years old. So I never up until that point I didn't really have, like a real big father figure other than my grandpa. And he was never really real huge into fishing and stuff. And so I really got into fishing with one of my best buddies. And right about the time that my dad came around, he started taking me fishing a little bit, and that's kind of where the fire lit under my ass. But it's really kind of helped show me. Like I said, I got my 2 kids, and from the time my daughter was a little slower to get in the boat because she was fucking terrified of everything. I mean, I shit you not, dude. I would hit the tilt and trim motor on my, or tilt and trim button on my motor, and she would fucking lose it. But right about the time my son turned 1, my daughter, she decided she was going to be brave and started taking the kids fishing, and they love it, man. I mean, they are troopers. They'll sit out on the boat for 8-10 hours. Yeah. They'll just troll along with me, and for a 5-year-old and a 2-year-old, I don't know a lot of kids that can do that at that age,
There's 2 others I know of that do that.
Yeah.
And that's my wife's dad, commercial trawler fished out of Florence, and towards the end of him having his boat, he was just sport fishing out of it, and so my son Tyler caught his first silver on Grandpa's boat, and this was before cell phones, so there's no fucking pictures of it. And then, 4 or 5 years, well, it's probably been longer than that now. Guy I went to high school with, Guy Springman, down in Eugene. There, we went out with him out of Winchester Bay, and Carson caught his first Chinook.
Yeah.
And it was on then.
Yeah.
You know, and Carson, we'd grown up. My mom and her husband were members of the Cowlitz Valley Wildlife League up there on Silver Lake. And so both boys spent summers after summer up there. And that was Carson. He would sit on the bank and catch crappie and catfish and carp and whatever would fucking bite.
Yeah.
And he'd, I can't go yet. I'm fishing. And we got pictures of him, you know, and there's a picture I got on Facebook of Carson, myself, my mom, and a friend of ours, Dave Empter. We went up to Swift and caught, you know, we each caught like 2 4 and 6 pound trout.
Oh yeah.
And what a day that was.
Yeah.
And you know, ever since then he's been it, you know. In the North River, we went out up here out of Bonneville on sturgeon fishing, and we got pictures of him with the sturgeon. And you know, it's just become such a way of life, you know, and such an amazing gift to be able to share with your kids, you know.
Yeah.
Learning how to run the boat and tie the stupid fucking knots and and then having to relearn all that shit after I had my stroke has been pretty cool, but we're getting there.
Yeah. I love it, man. My kids, I'm gonna try to grab a picture here before it becomes irrelevant. Their favorite hobby at 5 and 2, they love to try to run how to kicker motor, you know. They're trolling around
That's
Merwin
awesome.
and stuff. But
that's awesome.
it kind of gives me an aneurysm sometimes because I'm very particular. You know, I want things to be a certain way, and my 2-year-old especially, he's all over the place, and I'm like, okay, thanks for helping, bud. Get out of here, squirt. You know.
Yeah.
Well, one of these days you'll get it, but right now, just get out of my fucking way.
He's got a good chance of getting it. I mean, he's out there.
Yeah.
And you can't get it if you're not out there.
Yeah. Well, and, and our world is a fucking mess right now.
Oh, Jesus.
And it has been as long as I can remember. I mean, I'm 25 years old. It's been a mess as long as I can remember. And my goal as a father is I don't want to shield my kids from the reality, because that's not the way. Like, we need to have kids that are going to face the problems, you know. But I want my kids to realize there's a way to look away for a minute. There are parts of life, even in this shitty, scary world, that you can enjoy, you know. And and there's adversity in fishing, and there's adversity in life. And if you can start learning how to face adversity, you lose a fish. There's some adversity, and I feel like it just helps give them the proper tools, moving forward.
It does, It's not that there isn't adversity, because like you just said, there is. But what matters, it doesn't matter how many times you get knocked down. It's when you get up.
Yep.
How you recover, respond to the little things is what matter. Are you gonna fucking lay down and play dead, or are you gonna get up and keep going?
Yeah.
And that's, for me, my stroke is a perfect example of that. It would have been easy just to sit back and go, well, fuck, I had a stroke.
Yeah.
I'm fucking pretty worthless now. Can't do dog shit. And, but that wasn't good enough for me.
Yeah.
As, an active guy, being on the rigging and trucking and everything else, I couldn't accept just laying down.
Yeah.
And so, that's what drove me, coming out and looking at this every day and going, someday, someday soon we'll be back in it. And I look back to where I was about 6.5 months ago and where I'm at now. I can't complain.
Yeah.
I mean, it's, life happens, and away we go.
Yeah,
You know, the sky's the limit, and I hope I can keep taking guys out for, you know, forever until I can't do it anymore.
Yeah. I haven't known you all that long, but pretty much since I decided I wanted to start doing this podcast, you were one of the people that I wanted to have as a guest, just because of your mentality. You know, like, I see you on Facebook, and it's just it's fucking remarkable. Even as an outsider who doesn't really know you, seeing where you were, you know, even a year leading up to your stroke, and then when the stroke happened to where you are now, it's fucking cool as shit to watch. And I think a lot of guys, you're going to change a lot of lives, you know, doing some guiding stuff, and continuing to take veterans out fishing. I think it's going to make a big difference.
Thank you. I hope it does.
Yeah.
You know, if, you know, just bring the joy to one person.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just one guy change their mind, or one gal change their mind. You know, we all know 22 veterans a day and commit suicide, and just helping one person,
Mm-hmm.
you know, hold on just a little bit more, and get to the other side of the darkness, and, you know, give them hope.
Mm-hmm.
Because, you know, if for somebody that's never been there, you know, the lack to be hopeless and thinking you've only got one way out is just a dark place to be.
Yeah.
And if I can help be part of making that decision for somebody so they don't go down that road, you know, the gift is all mine.
Yeah.
And with, you know, the fishing community, and you know, guys like Nick that did it for years, and John that did it for years, you know, taking my lead from them.
Mm-hmm.
It's all I can do.
Yeah.
You know, it's the least I can do to help my fellow man.
Yeah. We were lucky enough. We had John as our last guest on the podcast here, and hearing his story too. It's remarkable, man. And just seeing the willpower that some of you guys have to you know, take a punch and keep rolling, dude. It's crazy. You know, I'm a fat, lazy truck driver, and that's pretty much what I have been, you know, since I turned 21. You know, it's I can't imagine doing some of what you guys do. So it's really, really cool. And, you know, one of these days, I'd love to get a hold of Nick and kind of hear his side of stuff too. You know, I find you guys fascinating. It's interesting, you know.
And, you know, I mean, they're all good guys.
Mm-hmm.
They're you know, like anybody else. They're good. Their heart's in the right spot, and you can only do stuff for free for so long. And you know, there just comes a point when it's you know, the tides turn and go a different route. Mm-hmm. And, you know, anybody that tries it, that does it right, that, you know, invests the money and the time, and, you know, there's no reason to not do it. If it works, great. You know, if it doesn't, great. I mean, hell, I'm 55.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't start guiding until I was like 53.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I got to it late in life, but I'm happier now than I've ever been.
Yeah. Well, if it makes you feel any better, you don't look a day over 56. So
perfect. That works.
So, so let's take a minute here to tell us a little bit about some of the upgrades and changes you made to your boat to make it suitable for you after your stroke.
So it was a tiller boat when I got it. Had wood floor, you know, just the basic baseline boat. And with my stroke, you know, I knew that I couldn't, or I didn't think I could get back on the tiller and be able to stay sharp enough with where I needed to go. So the driving end of things was muscle memory for me. So
the stuff happens quick, man.
Oh,
especially with a tiller in your hand.
Oh, fuck.
You know, it happens quick.
And that's why I've, on the heavy days, avoid Drano.
Yeah, I love being in there, just, you know, fucking nut to butt, touching tips.
Oh,
you know.
no, it's great.
Yeah.
You know, now that I've got a different, I'm taking care of my stress, which is something I didn't do pre-stroke. I just, and so, you know, I've found ways to handle the stress, and I hope to be out there going in circles with everybody.
Mm-hmm.
But so I had a center console put in,
Mm-hmm.
and had diamond plate floors put in, and they reinforced it in several spots in the back, and then I had courtesy lights put in, which has just been amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I've had it out, had lots of vets out kokanee fishing
Mm-hmm.
since I've been back to being able to do it, and I just enjoy it.
Yeah.
It's nice to. I've got a Minn Kota fucking bow mount thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the automatic, it's the Terrera,
Mm-hmm.
the manual one, because my kid, he can fucking deploy it all day long. It's a good job for him. But I like being able to set that bow mount,
Mm-hmm.
and then it just goes.
Yeah.
And it frees me up, and I can interact with the guys and gals and kids,
Mm-hmm.
and make it a fun experience.
Yeah, makes it a little bit less work and a little bit more, enjoyable,
Exactly. And we did a veterans trip last Sunday,
Mm-hmm.
and I had for the three, I think we took 18 vets out.
Oh,
There
geez.
was like five or six, I think there was 5 boats,
Mm-hmm.
and we got 18 guys out. And being with somebody when they catch their first fish,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's a salmon, whether it's just their first fish ever,
Mm-hmm.
it's just magical.
Yeah.
One of the guys that I had with me, he'd got frostbite in both his toes.
Oh, geez.
On both legs, and so they chopped his toes off. But he was standing up and just a reeling, and oh god, they were having fun.
Yeah.
And that's what makes it worthwhile, to see those guys smile. To see those gals smile.
Yeah.
And have a good day, and just leave behind whatever shit they're dealing with.
Yeah.
What other fucking demons they got going on, to give them that break for that 6-8 hours is just magical.
Yeah. Yeah. Kind of selfishly asking here, how was the fishing last weekend?
They did good.
Yeah.
Everybody caught 2 fish.
Mm-hmm.
Which, okay, kokanee, it's not. it was 2, but for them it was their first fish.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
absolutely.
so they each got 2, and then another guys that were up there knew that we had vets out, and so they brought their fish over and gave them to the
very
vets.
cool.
So they took a bunch of fish back with them. We got them filleted up for them, cleaned up, ready to go, and they were cold as hell. It was fucking raining like a bastard. But at the Sportsman Show, I bought some of this net zero fucking base layer shit.
Uh-huh.
And I will put a plug in for those fuckers. That shit is awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome. You ever consider getting a top built for the boat? Because I know a guy.
I have, but I have.
The only issue that I could see potentially is having that center console is for one, you'd want to be able to see over it, which is, I mean, that's the same issue with a tiller, but also you'd be kind of limited with how far I won't say limited. You would have the dilemma of deciding how far back you want to take the top.
Right.
But I had a top made by Superior Tops there in
Right.
Longview, and Dave is a killer guy.
He is.
Customer service out the ass, dude.
Yep.
I mean, you call and talk to the guy, and the phone just bleeds with energy, and he will do anything he can to make everybody happy.
Yep.
And I mean, for taking vets fishing and having them out in the rain and stuff, it's worth considering. Absolutely.
Oh, it's definitely worth considering. That thing right there puts out 65,000 BTUs.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
So
you'd have guys fucking sweating in there.
well, that's the idea. But if to be able to see over it and then fish enough rods and not have them stumble fucking over each other to get back to it and reel something in.
Yeah, there's a real give and take to it.
It is. Oh yeah.
But, yeah. Biggest reason I put it on is for my kids.
Yep.
And sometimes I I tried to sell it there for a minute because I was having some buyer's remorse, and then I went and did some steelhead fishing there on a local tributary, and it was pissing rain, it was like snow and rain mix, and it was cold, and I was like, you know what, I might keep this fucking thing. But the $2,500 price tag, it's kind of worth it.
Yeah, I've got two. There's a Connex the other side of that wall there, 40-foot Connex that's got a bunch of fucking shit in it, and there's two. I can't even Bimini or Bimini. Those ones. I've got two in there from 16-foot boats we had before. So, it's not going to be wide enough. But if anybody has a 16-foot boat and needs a top, let me know.
Yeah. We're getting like 25 listeners per episode now. So
hey,
somebody might want one.
All it takes is one, man.
That's right. Yeah, very cool. So you got a chance to go to the Sportsman Show. All in all, how did you enjoy that? A pretty good show this year?
It's great. Yeah. It's it's a big bullshit session.
Yeah.
And that's
what I love. That's why I'm doing a podcast. I love bullshitting.
Yep. And that's the thing. It's just like the logging conference down in Eugene for me, Growing up, that's where I had my birthdays in February, and the logging conference is the last weekend in February. So every year we'd have my birthday at the logging conference, and little fucking shits, and they had lots of equipment then, and we could run through on yarders, and it was in the heyday of logging.
Yeah. Are you going to be down there this year?
No, we're going to actually be doing be cleaning the nets at the Lewis for the steelhead.
Oh, okay. That's really cool.
Yeah, it is. And that's it. Giving back.
Yeah.
Giving back and helping fisheries in every way I possibly can.
Yeah, absolutely. I've never been to that Eugene logging show, and I had a buddy that was just telling me about it last week, and I'm thinking I might load up the kids and go. It seems like a blast.
Oh, it's a good time. The kids have fun. If you get there early enough and go through all the exhibits in the exhibit halls and shit, a lot of the vendors are giving out little free shit for the kids, and it's just nice. They've still got some equipment there that they can get up and down and crawl inside, and trucks that they can your trucks you can and then you look at the price tag and you're like, how? But it's a great time for kids.
Absolutely.
And even adults. I when I did go, seeing guys that since we've been up here, I haven't seen in 20 years now, or 15 or whatever the fuck it is. Seeing guys I broke in on the rigging with, and it's great.
Yeah.
It's like the loggers' church.
Yeah.
And it's always fun to see the way that the industry itself has changed, in just a short time.
Yeah. Back to the Sportsman Show. What day were you down there?
Wife and I went down Thursday, I believe it was.
Okay. Yeah. Was it pretty busy, or kind of?
It wasn't bad.
Yeah.
I went to the one in Puyallup, up the Washington Sport Show.
How was that one? I've never been to that one.
It was even better, even less people.
Really?
So it was nice. The Washington Guides Association had their annual meeting, and so we went up for that, and then we got to walk around, and lots of great vendors, plenty of places to spend your money if you wanted to.
I love spending money.
Guilty.
Yeah.
And so it was a nice fun trip, and then wife and I went across the river here to Portland, and it was great to see the guys at Talon. I run all Talon rods, and see my friends down at Edge, and the Brad's booth, and the list just goes on and on. I mean, it's become a a family thing where just like the logging show is, but now it's the sportsman's show, and that's okay.
Yeah.
You know,
You dig those Talon rods quite a bit?
I do.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
My first year we put the hurt and tone pretty good, and they held up, and then I had my stroke last year, so we didn't get to put them to use. I got to go out with some other buddies, and we caught fish, and they hold up.
Yeah. I think I'm up to I want to say I'm up to 14 of the Okuma Guide Select Classics, and I love them. But there's something intriguing. You get a company it seems to be super reputable, and you get big names like John Kaiser and stuff that are talking big about them. It gets a guy curious, and so I've considered giving them a shot, but I'd have to sell 14 Guide Select Classics if I decided to go that route. But
I mean, it's nice that they're local.
Mm-hmm.
And it's, support your local businesses.
Yeah.
Whether it's tackle, whether it's rods, reels, I mean, support your friends and keep everybody going.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I try to do is, support my buddies and go to the hometown stuff. I mean, I'm a Bi-Mart guy. I'm kind of experiencing the old guy Bi-Mart stuff. It was yesterday, and I need to go. It's Tuesday. I should go to Bi-Mart. Oh hell, it's lucky number day. I'll have to get my card out and see if I won some fucking dumb little thing. And I didn't, but it's just it's amazing to have local businesses like that a guy can, support and just do what we do.
Yeah. It's really cool. It's really cool kind of talking to guys from a generation or two up, because it seems like there's such a camaraderie that's almost lost nowadays, with supporting small businesses, supporting buddies. I mean, it seems like nowadays most of my generation, and even a little bit of the generation ahead of me, everybody's looking for the best deal, and everybody's looking for, I got a buddy that runs this business, he's cutting me a deal on all this shit. Oh, fuck that, dude. Go support your buddy. He's got shit going on. He's trying to make money. Get him his bag too.
And that's it.
Mm-hmm.
We kind of look at things from the point of view of, well, if it was your business, what would you do?
Yeah.
And everybody's got their stuff where they're gonna, everybody's gonna give somebody a break at some point. But the bottom line is support your friends.
Yeah, absolutely.
Keep the, what you, it's a difference, and you don't want to say it out loud, but whether the kids eat that night or not.
Right. Yeah.
And if I can help feed my kids, and I'm lucky enough that I can feed my kids and I can help feed their kids.
Yeah.
I'm going to do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
It. I mean, I buy, when we go to dinner in Washougal, we always go to the local places, and where the kids work.
Yeah.
And that's okay. So we got to go to Vancouver to get Stardust, but
yeah,
that's where we go.
Yeah.
Because we've seen so many of our friends as kids work there, that it just makes you brim from ear to ear when you look up and it's like, oh hey, I know you, and they're like, oh shit, I know you too. And, it's a big town, big city, but it's a small town.
Yeah.
And that's what, that's what's amazing.
Yeah. Well, we kind of start working towards wrapping this up here. Why don't you take a minute and kind of plug yourself, tell people how they can find you, tell guys kind of what you're fishing for, what you're going to be moving towards. I would assume, spring Chinook, you're probably going to keep doing some kokanee. How can guys get a hold of you to get some fish?
Well, I got Stoffel Sportfishing has a Facebook page of the same name, Stoffel Sportfishing. I've got a website. It's Stoffel Sportfishing.
It's a tongue twister.
.com. Well, it's a stroke fucking thing.
I have a hard time saying it.
Or, you can call me. My number's 541-912-1178. You can email us at stoffelsportfishing@gmail.com. I try to be on all the social media stuff. I'm an old guy, so I'm not real up on all the social media shit. My kids are all moved out, so I'm kind of living and learning.
Yeah, well, you do pretty good in the Facebook world. I know that.
I try.
See you around there quite a bit.
Well, when you're basically retired and ain't got shit to do, you find yourself flipping through and taking a nap and doing whatever needs to happen. But, we're doing kokanee and getting ready for spring salmon. I got a leader board out here. I've been tying some leaders and getting stuff ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be happy to take anybody out. We've got special rates for veterans, and we do lots of trips with the Northwest Steelheaders and different veteran nonprofits for at little to no cost for everybody. Let's just get you out on the water and start making memories.
Yeah, absolutely.
Get busy living or get busy dying. What's it going to be?
Yeah, absolutely. So before we go ahead and wrap it up, we'll just kind of recap everything. So start of the show, we went through our giveaways. Obviously, you already heard that, so I'm not going to waste my breath going through it again. We went over the clam digs that they got going on right now to the 25th of February. And then we went over the Columbia River Spring Chinook dates that they gave us. And then
I think they gave us a couple days of sturgeon retention above the Dalles Dam too.
Oh, did they? Okay,
Yeah.
I didn't see that, so that's good. That's good knowledge there. I never saw that. So, check your regs and see about that, because I don't have that in front of me, and my service is kind of dog shit up here.
Yeah, well, you live in the fucking pucker toolie.
I hear the banjos on my way up here, man.
Yeah,
But,
I've heard that before.
Yeah. Go ahead and get yourself entered for our giveaways. Go out and make yourself a report, and we look forward to getting back with you guys next week. Thanks a lot, Todd, for jumping on. It's been a blast, man, and I appreciate you jumping on and being patient with the little shit show we had trying to get set up here, and it was awesome, man. So
I appreciate you guys. Thank you for giving me the opportunity. And again, StoffelSportfishing.com. Give me a holler.
Yep, absolutely. All right, guys. You guys have a good weekend.